WCHA Women's League Media Day, which serves as a kickoff for the 2020-21 season. Before we begin, I just want to run through some ground rules real quick. If you have a question for one of the speakers during the call, please hit the or press the raise hand function on your computer, and I will call on you in the order the requests are made. You'll be on mute until you're called on, and then we'll go back on mute once you finish your question. We have a hard 10-minute window for each speaker, so we may not be able to fulfill each request, but we'll do the best we can. All that said, then our first speaker will be WCHA Women's League Commissioner Jennifer Flowers. I'm going to make her live on the screen here, and then Commissioner, the floor will be yours. Give me just 1 second. Okay, Commissioner, floor is yours.
Awesome. Thanks, Todd. Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks so much for taking some time to be with us here today. We're excited to get the 22nd season of WCHA Women's Hockey started on Friday. Undoubtedly, this will be a season unlike any other. I first want to commend our membership for their commitment and steady approach as we worked to develop protocols and to develop a return to competition model that would provide our teams the opportunity to compete as safe as possible. We are all prepared to adjust and to adapt as necessary. It's something we've all been working on since March, actually. So we understand that this is going to be a different year, and I'm really proud of our membership, of our coaches, of our student athletes for how they've continued to navigate this pandemic and the changes that it has caused to our season. There are some things that stay the same, thankfully. Our league will be as strong as ever. 4 teams in the top 8 in the preseason rankings, lots of firepower, offensive firepower in particular coming back. There's no doubt our on-ice competition is going to be as exciting as ever to watch. You know, for me personally, we're rolling into year 2 in this position for me, and I can tell you that year 1 has been unprecedented in a number of ways. For us to have been basically the last sport to finish back in March, and you know, thankfully we had a chance to crown Ohio State our final face-off champions before everything shut down. But in that time, in the meantime, we were able to successfully navigate the expansion of our league with the addition of the University of St. Thomas, who will join the WCHA as our 8th member starting next season. We've been able to address other things and really hone in on some of the positives that the WCHA has. You know, it's the meetings and the timing and the talking that has happened since March have elevated to a level that I'm not sure we all thought was necessary at the time, but here we are, and we've made it, and we're going to drop the puck Friday night, and we're really excited to have that opportunity and for our student athletes to have that opportunity. So with that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Okay, questions for Commissioner Flowers, just hit the raise hand function on your screen and we'll call on you. Okay, first up, we're gonna have Matt Wellens. Matt, go ahead.
Hey, Jen, just wondering if you have an update on when you plan to release the second half schedule and the progress on that. Is there a target date when you hope to get that done?
Yeah, Matt, thanks for asking. As I shared with the coaches yesterday, my goal has been by the end of this month, and that goal hasn't changed. Certainly a few things to still get ironed out and some progress to be made, but the hope and the plan is to have something ready to release by end of November, early December.
And next up is Todd Mashevsky. Todd, go ahead.
Hey, Jen. This season seems like it's going to have to be as flexible as anything. Maybe that's the biggest thing it's going to have to be for teams, for the league. From your perspective, how are you prepared to handle that just in different dates, moving games around as they have to be? That seems like it's going to have to be one of the biggest things for everyone.
Yeah, you know, Todd, I think we can talk about being flexible, and then when it comes time to actually have to be that way, it'll be interesting to see what comes. I mean, we've obviously faced our first challenge already, and we're going to do the best we can. We've stressed communication and over the top communication at times, and just really remembering that at the end of the day, we are all in this together. We're trying to do the very best that we can for the student athletes and fans and coaches and everyone associated with the WCHA. And so I'm not sure, to be honest, that there's a playbook for it. And I'm not sure that every situation is going to be the same. So we will take each instance as it comes and make the best decisions that we can in order to keep playing.
Okay, next up is Erica Ayala. Erica, go ahead.
Thank you. This is Erica Ayala with the 9 newsletter, and forgive me if you addressed this. I came on a little bit late, but I'm wondering what the directives are from the NCAA, and if and how that has impacted or potentially could impact what the WCHA does for this particular hockey season.
Erica, can I ask you to clarify that? When you mean directives from the NCAA, what are you in particular speaking to?
Sure, no problem. Just thinking about last season and last year, the NCAA was forced to shut down tournaments. And that was a decision that was made, obviously, as the coronavirus was really peaking in the United States. We're, a little less than a year out, and I'm just curious if the NCAA were to make any decisions given Frozen Four final tournaments, would that impact how the WCHA moves forward?
Oh, okay. I appreciate that. Thank you for the clarification. To be honest, we are really working in the day-to-day, and there obviously has been no directive to this point from the NCAA. So again, I think it will be one of those things that if that happens, then we'll have to take a step back and determine what that means for us. Right now, as a league, we are committed to providing the best, most meaningful season we can for our student athletes, and we are hopeful that includes a postseason championship.
Any more questions for Commissioner Flowers? Again, just hit your raise hand function and we'll get you on. Okay, next up we have Randy Johnson. Randy, go ahead.
Oh.
Yeah, hi, Jen. The situation out east with the ECAC teams shutting down, how does that concern you out in this part of the country now too?
Randy, it's really unfortunate to start with. I know that we're disappointed for all of those teams and those student athletes who are facing those challenges and their seasons being canceled. I would say that the sport of women's college hockey and the leadership of women's college hockey has worked and continues to work tirelessly to try to make everything happen and work. Right now, again, we're taking what we can and what we know and what affects us, and we're trying to work through that. It's not one size fits all. Certainly there will be continued discussions as to how all of these things impact various areas, but we're focused right now on our protocols getting into place and working and being able to drop the puck on Friday.
Okay, we have time for one last question. Be Todd Mashevsky. Todd, go ahead.
I know you have a ton on your plate for just getting this season going, but I wonder for a long-term perspective, obviously there are changes happening on the men's side with the WCHA down the road. Can you give us a window into what it looks like for the women's league in terms of a future beyond this season? Obviously you have St. Thomas coming in, so there are plans happening in that, but just maybe a big picture perspective right now.
Yeah, the WCHA Women's League is the premier league in women's hockey, and that's what we're going to be today, tomorrow, and into the future. That's the outlook that we're taking. That's the directive that we have. We are, as I mentioned at the top, our membership is as committed as they've ever been. We recognize that some of the things around us are going to change, but that allows us the opportunity to tighten up and be even stronger. So we are excited to get back to the even number of 8. We're looking forward to, potentially stepping out on our own a little bit as the WCHA Women's League, and feel very confident that our future is really bright.
Okay, Commissioner, thank you. We're going to move you off and bring in Greg Shepard. Thanks for your time. Y'all
Thanks,
bear
everybody.
with me 1 second here. Thank you. Okay, we're going to bring in just a second here, Greg Shepard, our supervisor of officials, who will give us a brief overview of where things are from a rules change standpoint this year. Okay, Shep, you're on. Just take your phone off. Take your phone off mute. You can go.
Okay, Todd, thank you very much. And I want to first say to Jennifer and Dean and Todd, everybody, they've done one heck of a job to get this going. It's been a tough role with everything going on. So, and I know I got a short window, so Todd told me to don't talk so much, but I just want to say those three people have done one immense job to get this started on this weekend. A couple of rule changes that are taking place this year in the past, we'd throw a center out at faceoffs. Now we're going to the international rule where you'll see the linesman stand up, point at the offending team, blow the whistle, go back down and drop the puck. The next violation is an automatic penalty. We're not throwing the center out this year because what it does is it just adds to time. And I know that we want to speed the game up as much as we can to make it fair for everybody. So that's going to be the face-off protocol. Stand up, point at the offending team, blow the whistle, go back down and drop the puck. The next one is after an icing or a penalty, the attacking team gets to pick what side they want the face-off on. So the coach would tell the official standing by the bench, we want it on the right side, and away we go, or the left side, whatever. But that's a new rule this year that the attacking team will pick on an icing and a penalty what side in the zone they want the face-off on. Overtime, after 60 minutes, instead of going 5-on-5, we're going to go 3-on-3 for 5 minutes, 2-minute rest, and then we will go to a 3-person shootout. Now, this is not sudden death with the 3-person shootout. So one team scores, Minnesota shoots, they score, Wisconsin shoots, they score, we're tied. Next player doesn't, next player scores. The next shootout would be Minnesota, they score again, Wisconsin doesn't, Minnesota wins. Now, if we're tied after the 3-person shootout, then we will go to a sudden death shoot. So one team, St. Cloud gets to shoot, they don't score. Mankato shoots, they score, they win. Game over. That's what they're doing this year. They're going to go right to a 3-on-3, 3-person shootout, and then a sudden death if need be. Now, after the 3-person shootout, if we have to move on, no other player, all the rest of the players have to shoot before the 3 people that have already shot shoots again. And nobody serving a penalty at the time when the game ended can shoot. So that's more or less the rule changes to make it quick for this season. Anybody got any questions about what I've talked about or anything else that pertains to our game? You can fire away.
And we do have one question. First up, Todd Mashevsky. Todd, go ahead.
Shep, I wondered, I know this isn't an on-ice thing, but is the league doing still 3 points for an overtime win in the 3-on-3 shootout, or is it going to be a 2-and-1 like it is in the NHL?
You can talk to the brass on that. Maybe Todd Bell can answer that better than I can. Todd?
Yeah, thanks, Shep. Yeah, basically it's 3 points for a regulation win, 2 points for a 3-on-3 or shootout win, 1 point for a 3-on-3 or shootout loss, and of course 0 points if you lose in regulation. So that's the way the point totals are going to work this year. Anything else for Shep? Okay, Shep, that'll do it. We're gonna
Was I
move you
okay,
out.
Todd?
Yeah, great job. I'm gonna move you out. Thanks, Shep. Thank you very much. We'll see you. Okay, we are ready now for our first head coach of the day, and we're going to bring on from Ohio State the final face-off champion from a year ago. We're going to bring in head coach Nadine Muzzerall. Coach, 1 second to get you loaded up here. Okay, you are on. You have the floor. Coach
Hi,
Meany.
everyone.
There
Yep.
you go.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining today. I want to thank Todd and Dean and Jennifer for all that they've done to get us to this point. I know that you guys just often hear the results, but we don't really hear all that has gone on behind the scenes to make this season a success. So thank you so much for them and our administrators to getting us to this point. We're clearly very excited to get going and taking on Minnesota this weekend as we go back to Ritter Arena. We've had some good karma there in the past, so we're excited to build off of our conference championship. Like all student athletes, I'm sure, they're very anxious, our Buckeyes, and they've done all the right things. You know, they're, working hard in the classroom, but at the end of the day, they want to play. And so it seems like it's been a long wait. And then all of a sudden it popped up and here we are. So, we're just very fortunate to have the opportunity to be playing it all this year. And we're excited about that.
Okay, Coach, thank you. Any questions for Muzz? Just raise your hand or hit the raise hand button and we'll get you on. Okay, first question would be Stephanie Miller. Stephanie, go ahead.
Hi, Coach Miserel. So with your season or record-breaking season from last year, what are you guys anticipating to go into this season with? Your season got canceled 3 days before you head to the championships, and you had a really great season. What are you looking?
I'm sorry, you faded at the end there. What are we looking for the season? Well, number one is maintain health and safety for our athletes, and that our entire conference is able to do that as well as we want to continue to play. And so that I think is our number one focus. In terms of the hockey piece, we have a lot of returning players, starting from the back with Andrea, who was, preseason pick for WCHA first season goalie. And she's been our backbone. She's been very consistent. She looks very good right now. And then we have a lot of our returning players. Our top guns are coming back. With that, we've added some depth to our already pretty elite program. And with that, we have Buglioni and Jenna Buglioni and Amanda Teely, who represented their country's colors last year at the U18s, to add a little bit more depth to our goaltending and then a little more scoring offensive threat as well. So the girls, you know what? The bar's been set each year, and I think each year we've risen a little higher over the past 5 years. And, when you have that bar set high and you're in that top 5, there's a lot of expectations that go with that. And they feel that. And I think over the years, through some great leadership, they've learned to balance that and still perform. So we're anticipating a strong season.
Okay, Coach, thank you. Next question goes to Erica Ayala. Erica, go ahead.
Thank you. Hey, Coach, Erica with the 9 newsletter here. Thank you for your time. I wanted to ask if you feel that, or if you've had conversations with your athletes about just some of the other teams that either their conference or their individual program has opted not to play. And does that change how you approach this season and what I would argue is probably an ultimate goal, which is obviously to be successful in the national tournament?
Yeah, you know what? We've learned a lot and used a lot of this phrase over the past few months since March, when NCAA got shut down and we were at the airport at the gate ready to fly out, is control your controllables and just understand that everything is unpredictable at this time. So our focus has to be on us. And like I said, maintaining our health and that we're able to play. It's so unfortunate to hear about the Ivies, and I've got some really good friends coaching out there, so I feel for them and their student athletes. But our girls are being blessed with the opportunity to play, and they just have to have their mindset focused on them right now.
Okay, next question is to Allison Lucan. Allison, go ahead.
Hey, Muzz, thanks for doing this. We appreciate it.
Hi, Allison.
Hi. This is building on your last answer, but you've invested so much in the leadership of your women off the ice. What has been the challenge to this new leadership group this year? And what, if anything, different have you done to prepare them for what's going to be asked of them as team leaders?
Yeah, that's a great question. It has been a little different format. I think what we're fortunate about is, like I said, we have a lot of returners to lead that pack, and they've been guided by great captains from years previous, especially with Jinsey Dunn. And that one thing that we've been doing is obviously through meetings and Zoom meetings and socially distancing and meetings with masks on, trying to find that new norm, is still making sure that we are providing ourselves to be, still making sure that we're available for our student athletes, because oftentimes we feel they look like robots. We expect them to do this and we expect them to do this and we expect it to be excellent, whether it's in the classroom, in the community, or on the ice. And we have to remember that they're 18 and 20-year-old kids, and they still need that leadership and that guidance. And they've actually, they've been pretty strong about all of this. But I think what we've done, some personal and particular things that we've done amongst our team, and then we also have, our captain meetings, and I think that with the resources that we have at OSU, we're able to provide some opportunities for them to be together, but be safe about being together as well.
Okay, next question will be from Randy Johnson, Star Tribune. Randy, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Nadine. What do you expect to see out of Minnesota this weekend, a team that has 7 freshmen joining the team this year?
I honestly can't answer that as a straight answer, because I don't even know if Brad Frost knows what to expect right now because of the COVID and the kinds of practices that we've, tight styles of practices that we've had. I know that they're going to have a lot of depth. They have a lot of girls, like I had said about Buglioni and Thiele, have represented their country. So they have, great individual skill. Of course, I know Brad and Joel and Bethany very well personally. They're great coaches. So we expect that they're going to have a lot of depth. That's for sure. I think everybody, like we saw even in football in the first game, is just going to be, it's going to be messy maybe in the beginning, but I feel that, again, they were able to pick up bench that's helped between their pipes there this year. And so I think, again, that's just added more to their depth, but I'm expecting an up and down, high paced competitive game like it's been for years.
You have time for one more question. Any more questions for Coach Muzzerall? Okay, Coach, thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, Todd. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, we've got a minute here before we get going. Our next panelist, when we get back up, will be Steve McDonald. Again, just a reminder for those of you who joined late, if you have any questions, hit the raise hand function on your screen, and we'll get to you in the order you put your request. You'll be on mute until you're called on, and we'll go back on mute once you finish your question. We have a hard 10-minute window for each speaker, so we may not be able to fill every request, but we'll do the best we can. Those are pretty much the ground rules. So with that said, I'm going to bring on our next speaker. It's the head coach from St. Cloud State University. It'll be Steve McDonald. Coach, give me just 1 second here. Okay, Coach, you're on. If you'd like to make your opening statement.
Hey, Todd. No, just thanks for having me on and in this new format. I appreciate being able to talk about hockey. That means season's around the corner.
Maybe give us a little preview of your team for this year.
Yeah, for our team this year, we have a strong returning senior class. We have, very well-rounded group of freshmen coming in as well, and return 4 of our top 6 scorers from last year. So we have a lot of curiosity around this team and how we're going to perform. We've been very impressed with our ladies in terms of how they've reacted to these ever-changing situations that every team is dealing with across the whole country. Been really impressed with how our ladies have dealt with that and how they've been able to be adaptable in the different situations that they've been handed, even coming back to school in the last few months, so really impressed with that. And again, just like every team, we're excited to be able to hit the ice and get going.
Okay, thank you. Questions for Coach McDonald again, please raise your hand. Okay, first up be Randy Johnson, Star Tribune. Randy, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Steve. Could you give us an update on your situation with COVID and how many players were positive and how many are quarantined in that situation?
Yeah, so it's just as the release had mentioned, there was 8 positives that we had over that time frame, and with the regular testing through community testing as well as testing here at the school. So with that comes other quarantines for possible exposures, you know, just to, again, err on the side of maintaining everybody's health and safety during the situation. So we have, you know, we have some players that are in isolation due to the positive tests. We have some players that are in quarantine due to exposure, and then we have other players that are full go and that are, you know, once we're able to participate in activities.
Okay, next question. You can just hit your raise hand function. We'll get you on. Okay, Randy, go ahead.
Yeah, just follow up on that, Steve. Do you have a time frame on when play?
What's that? Sorry, Randy. Yeah, a time frame on when we expect to be able to play?
When you expect to return to play. Has that been determined yet?
Yeah, obviously that's a day-by-day process in terms of with continued testing here and at the school for all of our athletes and staff, but then also just monitoring symptoms, monitoring the health of the athletes. So there's different return points. There is a path to us being able to compete next weekend. So obviously we're making sure we can do everything to provide that opportunity while, you know, making sure that the health of our student athletes are a main priority. So, you know, those conversations happen daily, and we're checking in with all of our athletes. So, you know, and once again, just been impressed with how our athletes have responded to the situation. You know, it's a situation that none of them planned for. You're getting excited to be able to get into game week, and this is news that you receive leading into that week, and then be able to adapt. And their first question was in terms of what can we do to get better? What can we do to help prepare to make sure we're ready to go? So, so we've been impressed with them on that. But yes, there is a pathway that we see, and as long as everything trends in the right direction health-wise for our student athletes.
We had a hand up that just went down. If you still want to ask a question, just go ahead and hit your button again. Coach, I know, you know, I'm sure everybody's been dealing with this. What were some of the things you did this fall to keep your team engaged and keep active while we were sorting through what the season was going to look like? I think, didn't you guys do a kind of a little mini tournament within the team or something like that?
Yeah, we called it the COVID Cup, you know, and, you know, obviously when you start talking about before the student athletes get here, you start just brainstorming. Oh, okay, it's not a typical year, not a normal year. So he's like, start throwing everything up on the wall and see what sticks in terms of how to prepare them and how to provide them an experience that is that's going to help us prepare for a potential season, but then also making a meaningful experience for them here. You know, so one of those pieces was obviously given an opportunity to compete. You know, and without being able to play against anybody else, it's like, okay, well, how do we compete amongst ourselves? And as we went through the first month or so, and the idea of just doing a little bit of a round robin type of 3-on-3 tournament, and it came about, and then the ideas just started flowing from there, and ended up calling it the COVID Cup. You know, so we got through 3 Fridays of that with a round robin, and it was fun. We had stats, we had a draft, you know, and Janelle and Molly, assistant coaches here, have been excellent with engaging our players with that and having our captains, and it's been fun for them each week to have that. So and that's one way to keep them engaged. Then obviously different things on the ice, just like every team in our league, you know, you kind of go back to the drawing board on brainstorming on what you can do to make this a meaningful experience for our student athletes.
Thanks, Coach. Okay, next up we have Brian Posick. Brian, go ahead.
Hi, Steve. Who are you leaning on this year to kind of lead the way for your club?
Easy answer is going to have to be everybody, because everybody's going to be put into some situations that they're probably, maybe they may not be ready for in certain times just because of COVID. But obviously the seniors, and every year you look to them for the leadership and to really help guide the team and pull the team in the right direction from there. So that starts for us with senior goaltender Emma Paluzny. No question the load that she shouldered over her career, and she's going to continue to do that. And I thought she was exceptional last year, and stepping in when Janine Alder was unable to play, and Emma, she just stepped in and played every game. From then on out, and never complained, and really tried to lead that team best she could. And we're really impressed with how she did that last year, and looking forward to her having a great season this year. We have again with our returning scorers, we have Clara Himlarova, be a sophomore this year. Janina Newland from Finland, and obviously Laura Kluga, Olivia Savar, some of our leading scorers that are coming back that we're really leaning on. Our sophomore group, Taylor Lind as well, is very strong, that we're looking for some offense and expect big things from them this year. And then with our freshman group, like I mentioned, we have a well-rounded freshman group with a freshman goalie, freshman D's in there, and really strong forwards. And Emma Gentry is one that stands out as a freshman that we look to provide, an immediate injection of offense to our roster. And we have, again, well-rounded players that can play a very true 200-foot game. So long answer, with that in terms of who we're going to lean on. But for us, we're going to really have to lean on the whole committee on how we can be able to provide, especially in this situation.
Okay. Anything else for Coach McDonald? Okay, Coach, thank you for joining us. We'll let you go. Give you the rest of your day back.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay, we've got a couple minutes here before we go to our next speaker. I just, while we have the time, I'm going to run through what we announced yesterday. We announced our preseason coaches poll. You may or may not have seen that. Results were among the balloting among our 7 head coaches. University of Wisconsin was the choice as the preseason number 1 in the WCHA with 34 points and 4 first-place votes. University of Minnesota was second with 31 points and 3 first-place votes. The Ohio State University was third at 28 points. University of Minnesota Duluth, 4th at 21. Bemidji State University, 5th at 14. Minnesota State University, 6th, just behind the Beavers at 13. And St. Cloud State, 7th with 6 points. That is the preseason coaches poll. Daryl Watts from Wisconsin is the choice as the WCHA preseason player of the year. And Abby Murphy, a freshman forward from Minnesota, is the choice for the WCHA rookie of the year. Our all WCHA team, preseason team this year at forwards, we have Emma Maltese, Ohio State, Daryl Watts and Sophie Shirley from Wisconsin. On the blue line, we have Ashton Bell from Minnesota Duluth and Emily Brown from Minnesota. And in net on the all preseason all WCHA team is Andrew Brantley from Ohio State. So that's the results of our preseason voting amongst our coaches. And at this time, we're going to bring on our next speaker. It's from the preseason favorite, University of Wisconsin, head coach Mark Johnson. Coach, you are on and you have the floor.
Thanks, Todd. Certainly, I think similar to the other coaches, administrators, we're excited to play. I know everybody's student athletes are excited to compete, and so it'll be fun to start that process this weekend as some of our teams get an opportunity to play. And obviously, it's been an interesting summer and very interesting fall, and uncharted territory for all of us, and how you deal with it, how you manage it, how do you keep everybody engaged. And so it's been a learning process, but certainly compliment the leaders within the WCHAs that we're into this position right now, that our teams are going to get a chance to compete. So big kudos to them. And I know they spent a lot of hours on Zoom calls and going back and forth with the different athletic directors within our league, and everybody's put a lot of time and energy, and now we get to go. So we're excited. Obviously, it's similar to a lot of other seasons where you lose your seniors from last year. It was an unfortunate way for everybody to finish off the season because there was really no end to it. It's been 250 days since that Thursday I had to walk in, and other coaches had to walk into their locker rooms and tell their players that the season was over before it was actually over. We needed another 8 or 9 days, for 4 teams to get a chance to play for the national tournament. But as we found out that, that wasn't going to happen. And then you just deal with things over the course of the summer, how you're going to bring kids back into the school, and what are you going to do with practices, and when are you going to start practices, who's allowed to practice, how many kids can you have on the ice. So a lot of things have been going on, and a lot of ways to try to do things. And the main part is we're at that point now where we get to compete, and everybody's excited to move forward and see what the season's going to look like from this weekend on.
Thanks, Coach. Questions for Coach. Again, just hit the raise hand function on your computer and we'll get you on. Okay, first question is Todd Mashevsky. Todd, go ahead.
Hi, Mark. How do you keep players like Daryl Watts, Sophie Shirley, Britta Curl getting better week to week, year to year? I mean, do they have it in themselves to do that, or what's your contribution to them improving the way that they need to improve this year?
Well, I think is like a lot of scenarios, you can look at things different ways. I tend to go on trying to be positive and try to take advantage what might be ahead of us. And so we knew we obviously weren't going to play till maybe sometime in November at the earliest. So as we looked at September and October, it was an opportunity, to try to make each individual a little bit better and go about trying to do that. And then it's up to those student athletes to, come from within and being able to motivate themselves to come to practice each day. And I think in the environment that we're in, that's probably the best part of their day. And so if I'm a freshman on campus and, I don't get out of my dorm room too much, I have to do these classes online and I get a chance to practice in the afternoon. I mean, to me, that's a highlight of your day. I mean, I actually get to go to the rink. I get to engage and do what I love to do. And then it's up to the coaching staff to, make practices interesting, challenging, but probably most importantly, have fun in what we're doing. And I think the players you mentioned, they're motivated within, and, they like to come to the rink. They like to skate. They like to practice. And so I think the pressure is on the coaching staff to make sure that it's not Groundhog Days. So we're doing the same thing every day and it gets boring after a certain point. So, we try to be creative in what we were doing over the last couple of months. The players have bought into it, and certainly we're in a better place as I talk to you today than we were, in early September.
Okay, questions? Okay, here we go. Go ahead. Also ID yourself before you ask a question, please, and take your computer off mute. Go ahead. Okay, we're not hearing anything from you here. I'm going to have to take you down. Oh, if you want to try and ask again, we'll see what we can do. Any questions for Coach Johnson? All right. Todd, go ahead.
Thanks. Maybe, Mark, could you discuss where you're at with goaltending right now? I know that's one of your big questions this season. As you, I know you have a little bit more time before other teams do before you start playing, but where is that at right now?
Good question, Todd. Obviously, we lost some pieces in one of those areas within the net. And so, two of our goaltenders were with us last year. We brought in a young goaltender. Ship's coming in. We got a freshman, Jane Gervis, who you know is doing well, and then Kennedy Blair, who's a transfer, played at Mercyhurst last year. Is of the four that we have right now and that we're carrying, she's got the most experience. Obviously, she's played here at Laban. She's played against a lot of our teams in our league, and so. From that standpoint, from an experience end of it, she's got the most experience of the four. But what we're seeing in practice, similar to our other players, is good competition. And then as a coaching staff, you know, you try to find little things that will separate each one of them. And, you know, that's what we're looking at right now. The ultimate viewing for us is obviously going to be in games and how each goaltender handles themselves in the particular games. The challenge is that, you know, we start off down at Ohio State, then we're up at Minnesota. So they're going to get their feet wet real early, and we'll find out probably answers about each one of them, depending on how much playing time they get. So it's a big question, and time will tell and see who separates themselves and wants to play.
Okay, next up is Brian Posick. Brian, go ahead.
Hi, Mark. How are the other freshmen looking during preseason practice? I know there was a lot of hype around a couple of those young ladies.
Yeah, they're doing well. I mean, they're probably more so than anybody because, you know, they're used to playing a lot of games. They play more games the last couple of years with their respected teams than we do in college. So to go this length of time without playing a game is a little bit challenging and antsy. But, you know, McKenna Webster, Casey O'Brien, defenseman Mason Toff, you know, they've done well. Both McKenna and Casey got a chance a little while ago to go up to national camp and skate for a week up in Blaine with our national team. And I think that was beneficial for both of them. And so, again, like our goaltenders and our other young players, we need to get them in games and see how well and how long it's going to take them to adjust to our league. But obviously, you know, there's some high-end kids, and we're looking forward to watching them compete.
Okay, any more questions for Coach? Okay, Coach, thank you for joining us. We'll give you your day back. Have a good day. Okay, going to move on to our next speaker. That will be from Minnesota State. We'll be joined by head coach John Harrington. Coach, give me 1 second here. I'll get you on screen. Okay, Coach, thank you for joining us. If you'd like to make your opening statement. You're going to need to unmute your phone. There you go. You're on.
All right. Yeah, it's great to be on here, Todd, and it's good to know we're getting started this weekend. It's just listening to Coach Johnson there, just got off the ice a little bit ago, so missed the other ones, but just talking to him and talking about the time we spent last spring, you know, and how things kind of came to a halt, and then it's been a long summer, and it's getting ourselves organized and doing a lot of it through the virtual methods. So doing that and getting ready, but getting started to get going here. It has been a good fall. I don't think we've, you know, spent as much time with our team together as I would have liked, or as what our coaches would have liked to get them together. And because we've been trying to stay in our own little bubbles within our own team bubble. But but it's been good. And it's, you know, the practice time that we have had as we've gotten going before we got to the situation where we're getting a chance to play games. I think we've had a good opportunity to not only, you know, work a lot on skill development, but work a lot on conceptual things, how we think the game and how we play off each other offensively and defensively. So, and with 7 freshmen on our roster, I think that's been good for our team because they've had a lot to learn, not just as freshmen coming in, but as to what we do and what we try to do as a group. So the last 2 weeks have been an uptick in our practice intensity. I think when we found out that that we're opening the season this weekend, hosting UMD. And so as we get closer, the excitement builds, and we look forward to that and getting out on the ice and being in our game uniforms and playing a game.
Okay, we're going to go to our first question. We have Matt Wellens. Matt, go ahead.
John, where have you seen your program take the biggest leap in the off season? Where they have improved the most?
Well, I guess for the one thing, as far as in the off season, I think we did a great job coming back, and not having necessarily having everybody back this summer like we have in past summers. I think they did a great job on working out on their own, and I was extremely pleased with the test results we had when we did get back and were able to test our players and to see the physical condition they were in and the jump that some of our players, our returning players, made from last year. So they really committed themselves to doing that. I think once we got on the ice, I think it was exciting to see our players at how they had developed, and if we saw better things out of the returning players we had, and we also certainly saw some exciting things out of some of the freshmen we had, the skill level they had. So I'm hoping that that shows up in the games when we play. I think the biggest thing we'd like to see, obviously, is a better offensive production out of our team. I don't think it'll be necessarily from a few individuals, but certainly by committee. I'm hoping that we can be a better offensive team this year.
Okay, next with Randy Johnson. Randy, go ahead.
Yeah, John, a couple of your freshmen last year stepped up. What do you see them this year? What type of step do you expect them to take?
Yeah, we had, two of those freshmen were all rookie team players. Calla Frank, our goaltender, and Kelsey King, a forward. And Calla is going to she'll be our starter this year. She is, a former U.S. gold medalist at the U18 level and was at the U.S. national camp a couple weeks ago up in Blaine right there. And she not only a tremendously skilled player for us, but also somebody who leads by example in goal. I think our players feed off of her energy and her commitment to playing her position the best she can. So she's going to, last year she split time with Abby Levy, and this year she's going to have a chance to play the game pretty regular for us. So I think we're expecting big things out of her in goal. Kelsey King, of course, a very good offensive player. I think certainly was a better offensive player than actually her numbers showed. When I think of her ability that she won us a couple extra points in shootouts and overtimes last year that didn't show up on her stats. So she's kind of a big time player, and when the pressure's on, she wants to be in that position. So, and what we really like about Kelsey is her, just her thirst for knowledge. I mean, she wants to become a better player. She's a lot of questions and wants to learn about the game and be the best she can be. So I think those two, both just sophomores, but they're going to be key parts of our team. Calla certainly on the defensive end and Kelsey on the offensive end.
Hey, Randy, was there a follow-up there?
Oh, no, there was not.
Okay, thank you. All right, Coach, one thing we did want to ask, how did you handle preseason once the team got back on campus for school this fall without really knowing when the season was going to start in terms of actual game season? What did you guys do to keep it fresh and keep everybody engaged?
Yeah, it was concerning about that, and just what kind of effort we put into it. Of course, our players are always every day, Coach, what have you heard? it becomes really difficult to find different ways to keep saying, I don't know. And that's what it seemed like we did. But, you know, for us, it was, like I said, it was a good chance to introduce some new things drill wise and skill wise out on the ice that maybe we, you know, wouldn't always do once the season gets going, where we're more kind of, you know, our schedule is laid out for the week. We like doing things a certain way. So I think trying to keep, you know, the attention by doing some new things and learning some new things and taking the time to talk about the game. Like I said earlier, is conceptually to talk about like what we're looking for instead of exactly what we want you to do out there. And I think that was good for our team. I mean, I think we introduced New Drill Friday and the girls like that because they knew we were always going to do something different on Fridays that we hadn't done before. So we found we'd be digging deep and looking through a lot of different drill books to find some things that we hadn't done and put some new drills and introduce some new things in. So New Drill Friday was kind of exciting. And then our, I think our competitive Tuesdays, our competition Tuesdays, where we had chances and kept track in small games of who actually won games and would post the standings of who was the most successful on those days in small games. And I'll tell you what, our players look forward to that each week. And if they saw themselves on the list where they felt they were, you know, pretty disappointed about how they produced and how they performed, they kind of looked forward to next Tuesday. So Tuesdays became really a exciting day for us because they knew it was going to be a competition day and that numbers were being kept. So it kept them interested that way. But certainly I think now as we've gotten and you know, when it started sounding like we were going to get ready to play and we were able to get, you know, onto the ice on November 9th and officially have a practice, I think then it got geared more toward what we were trying to do system wise and position wise and where we were going to put our players to start our season. So it changed a little bit in the last couple of weeks.
Right. A little more, obviously a little more, I don't know, jump in the steps, right thing, but once the schedule came out, I'm sure that got everybody's attention.
Oh, I no question when we saw that we actually had games and could get more into that rhythm that they're used to. I think it was hard. Like I know I said a number of times throughout the fall to a lot of different people, you know, and I imagine, you know, other coaches would say similar or something similar is that, you know, our players are like horses in the starting gate. They're banging around. You can't keep them in there too long, that once you get them in, they want to run. And now we're excited that we get that chance to run.
Okay. Anything else for Coach Harrington? Okay, Coach, thank you for your time. Have a good day.
Todd. Okay.
Yep. See you. All right, next up will be our next speaker on deck here will be from the University of Minnesota Duluth, head coach Maura Crowell. Coach, give me 1 second here and I'll get you on the screen. Okay, Coach, you have the floor.
Thanks, Todd. Happy to be here today for Media Day. Wasn't sure that we would get to this point, so excited to be here, and our players are excited to be suiting up for real this weekend at Mankato. Long time coming, and we're ready. You know, it's been what we call extended preseason, which has a lot of benefits to it, and the time that they've been able to spend on individual skills and honing in on their own craft, as well as, you know, team skills and team tactics now in the last month or so. But I also have really appreciated that extended time in the weight room. I think that's shown up a lot on the ice, just in terms of our conditioning and our strength. You know, normally we have about 3 or 4 weeks, if that, before our first game. So in a lot of ways, there have been a lot of benefits to this long off season. And now, you know, we're excited to go. It's a real thrill for all of us involved to be hitting the road this Friday. So excited to play for real.
Questions for Coach? Yeah, just hit there we go. All right, Matt Wellens, go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Maura, I was talking with Naomi Rogie this morning about even despite her best efforts at the start of the pandemic there, it was tough to get weights and workout equipment. And she mentioned Jason Aldrich, his creativity became pretty important in the off season. Just your thoughts on what he was able to do and what the coaching staff, you all were able to do to help keep your team engaged and prepared and stuff in the off season, despite the limitations of the pandemic.
Yeah, I think, our perspective on that was it's an opportunity to do things differently. And we really pushed ourselves to think outside the box. So instead of maybe saying, well, gyms are closed, can't do what we normally do, we wanted to think about, well, what can we do and how can we make the best out of this situation? So certainly at home workouts and figuring out how to get bands and foam rollers and whatever else, if it's kettlebells or loading up a backpack with weights, depending on where people were and what their situations were, it was a little bit different. But Jason did a nice job tailoring our program to whatever situation our players might be in. We also did just different things that we normally wouldn't do in the off season. The players had a fitness challenge. They were using their Apple Watches, their Whoop bands, and all of those different trackers to compete with each other. So while they were, in various places all over the world, they were remaining in communication and competing with one another, which was pretty cool. And yeah, we were able to expand on our strength and conditioning ideas and incorporate different conditioning things versus just getting on the assault bike, which our players get plenty of when we're here at Amsoil. So we were able to do some different things, which I think they appreciated.
Coach, once you got everybody back on the ice, without knowing when the season was gonna, when we were still working on scheduling, that type of thing, what did you do to keep practice fresh, keep everybody engaged until we got things going?
Yeah, I think it was fun. And we always talk about, coaches love practice because that's where we're developing and improving. And that's exciting for us in order to get your players to feel the same way. I think, you have to bring that excitement every day. So I think it's a certain energy level from the coaches that helped. And also talking to them throughout the process of, if you think back to March or April, we weren't sure that we'd ever be out here practicing together. So let's really appreciate this time that we do have and make the most of it. And I think the attitude across the board was really good right from the get-go. So in terms of being creative and thinking of ways to make it fun, they make it fun, and certainly we're, I think, a pretty creative group in terms of what we do at practices and how we incorporate different things. With Fridays, we made Battle of the Bulldogs. I'm sure a bunch of the other coaches came up with creative things to fill in for that compete level that you might miss without games. So we did Battle of the Bulldogs. We've had scrimmages every Friday for, since we got going. And those have been pretty much the same teams all the way through. We send out the overall tally every week. And if we have a switch or two, it's a trade alert and making it fun. So that was one way, but we really, focused on some individual skills that maybe we wouldn't have had the time to do in the past. So that was new for the whole group, some of the things that we were doing. And structurally, we try to vary the way we hold practice in general. So sometimes we'll start with a small game, other times we'll start with skills, other times we'll start with warm-up drills. So just always, COVID or not, trying to keep it fresh and do things differently. So there's a element of surprise all the time while also, repeating drills so they feel confident and not overthinking things.
Yeah. I know you said, your kids, there were some challenges, trying to find workout equipment and that type of thing. How did you stay in touch with everybody, during the spring and summer before everybody got back to campus?
Yeah, we were pretty intentional about that. Once we sorted out how this was all gonna look for the long the long haul. We started with Zoom meetings with our group probably every couple weeks in the spring, and then those became more regular. Once we named our captains, we started meeting with them every other week, and then with the team in between. So we were getting a lot of FaceTime with the group, which I think was really important. We had a very unique and different off season, obviously with COVID, but also with all the social justice issues that were plaguing our country. So those are topics that we dove into. You know, another area that, you know, maybe in a normal year without COVID, we wouldn't have felt like we had time to do that. And it just kind of worked out. And I think that's made us all a better team, better people, and certainly me a better coach, just having those conversations with our players, getting to know them on a deeper level outside of, you know, the rink and X's and O's. So that's kind of how we handled our communication.
Okay. We got a question here from Randy Johnson. Randy, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Maura. Just looking, you're replacing quite the goalie in Maddie Rooney. How is that shaping up right now for your team, for the Bulldogs?
Hi, Randy. Yeah, it's obviously that'll be a void. That's a player. I was thinking about it the other day that I've had in net all of my years here at UMD. So, well, aside from the Olympic year, of course, but certainly a void. But, you know, I think we've built for this moment where Emma Soderberg will be our starter. And, you know, she's not a freshman, she's a junior. So she's been here for a couple of years. She knows our systems. She knows the style of play that we have, and obviously our opponents as well. So we feel good about where she's at and what she's learned playing with and behind Maddie all those years, and where she's at now. She's ready to take the net on. And we also have JoJo Chobak, a freshman goaltender, who's done a really nice job this fall too. So while it won't be Maddie Rooney for the first time in a long time, you know, so you got to turn the page sometimes on these careers. So Soderberg will be our girl.
Your next question is from Kelly Henseth. Kelly, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, you touched on Naomi Rogie just a little bit ago. Is there anyone, with everything that she's been through, is there anyone more itching to get to play a game this Friday?
Hi, Kelly. Probably not. Probably not. I know, you know, when we got delayed at the beginning of the year, she took it probably harder than everybody else. But honestly, I think the added time was just a benefit to her and everybody, just to get back in, you know, game shape as well as we can be. And the more time that we get to practice and strength and condition, I think the better prepared everybody is. But I know she's chomping at the bit. She's been waiting certainly a longer time than everybody else. So it'll be very sweet to see her smile on Friday night when she puts on that jersey for the first time in a long time.
We've got time for one more question. Anything else for Coach? Okay, Coach, appreciate your time today. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, our next speaker will be from the University of Minnesota, be head coach Brad Frost. Give me just 1 second here. Coach, you're on screen and you have the floor.
All right. Hi, everybody. Brad Frost here. We are thrilled to be dropping the puck here on Saturday. It's obviously been a long, long time. And, you know, with the way that our season abruptly came to an end last year, it was very difficult, but something that needed to happen. And so now we're ready to move on. It's been a long 9 months, and certainly our world is experiencing some difficult things, but looking forward to the weekend. Excited to play Ohio State, again, the team that we were going to play a number of months ago, and I'm just really grateful for the opportunity to play. We know that there's a lot going on around our country right now and throughout the world, and for us to be able to chase the black puck around is something that we're really looking forward to. Want to thank the WCHA and all Jen and all her staff for all the work that they did, along with the administrators and ADs at all the different schools. It's been a long, tedious process, but we're finally getting closer to dropping the puck, and our team is really excited about that.
Thanks, Coach. We have our first question here from Betsy Helfand. Give me 1 second. Betsy, go ahead.
Hey, Brad. I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about your freshman class and what you expect to see from them, and then a little bit more specifically on Abby Murphy and what you've seen from her so far in practice.
Sure, Betsy. Thanks for the question. Yeah, we're really excited about our class. It's a bigger class. There's 7 of them, and but they're all fitting in really, really well. We obviously have some dynamic players like an Abby Murphy, and but we've got a lot of Ann Cherkowski's another one, Maggie Nicholson. I mean, those are our top line U.S. and Canadian under 18 kids, and so they've been fitting in really, really well. They're going to provide quite a bit of depth for us as well, which we need, and I would expect all of them to be getting some playing time here as we move into the season. You know, Abby, I think, is probably the most dynamic player that came out of the U.S. or Canada, and will probably be the most dynamic freshman in the country this year. Great speed, has a knack for scoring, plays with a chip on her shoulder that we want to make sure that we continue to contain, and you know, have that chip for the right reason. And to play the game the right way, but she's a special player. She's going to be pretty electrifying, and you know, I think people will see right away why she was voted as the preseason Rookie of the Year.
Okay, next up is Matt Kennedy. Matt, go ahead.
Hey, Brad. Looking at your schedule, you face the other top 3 teams in the WCHA from last season, including Ohio State for 2 series, which your team had trouble with at the end of last season. How do you like that tough schedule, and how does it prepare your team for success in postseason?
Yeah, I mean, I got to be honest, Matt. We're hoping that we can get to a postseason. So it doesn't matter what the schedule is. We are really excited about it. It was a tough ending last year to not be able to have any closure, and so now just to be playing games is a big deal. Obviously, these are 3 of the best teams in the country that we're playing, so it's going to be a great challenge. But I know our players and our staff are very excited about that. But quite frankly, we're more excited to be playing games regardless of who our opponents are.
All right, we have a question from Randy Johnson. Randy, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Brad. Lauren Bench, how has she looked in goal so far during the practices and everything?
Yeah, Randy, she's been looking good. You know, we obviously saw a lot of Lauren throughout her 4 years at Bemidji State, and you know, she's a tremendous goaltender. She's got good size, moves well, very composed. I think the biggest thing is her experience. She's been playing in the WCHA for a long time, and now has the opportunity here to play for us and be on a different team. But she knows all the opponents well, and so we expect some pretty big things here from Lauren.
Thanks, Randy. We got a question now from Todd Mashevsky. Todd, go ahead.
Hey, Brad, coaches talk a lot about reacting to adversity being an important thing, and adversity this season adds another element with the whole COVID thing and responses to that. How important do you see that being in terms of, you know, a team reacting to that in a positive way? And why do you think your team is prepared for that going into the season?
Well, I think as we look back to last year, there's obviously many types of adversity, but being 36 hours away from from playing in an NCAA tournament game and hoping to throw your gloves in the air a week later and having that called off was a fair amount of adversity. So I think they've been there, done that to an extent, but you know, they've had to be dealing with a lot of stuff here, you know, throughout the last 9 months. And so we've talked a lot about flexibility. We've talked about interchangeability, and, you know, we just don't know what the future holds here. And so we want to seize each moment that we have and together, and we want to play our best hockey. And, you know, but we could show up on a Friday and get tested in the morning and 3 players are out. So what's our team going to do? How are they going to react? And so I think just knowing that there is a lot of randomness to the year and to the season, they need to be interchangeable. Forwards all need to know how to play wing and center. D need to know how to play potentially forward. And, you know, we're just going to take it as it comes, but we've got a pretty veteran group and who's already been through a lot. And I think they'll be able to help our younger group out as well.
Coach, how did you approach preseason workouts once you got on the ice when you had everybody back on campus without really knowing when the season was going to start? How did you guys handle that?
Sure. It was a little bit of a challenge. You know, normally in the summertime, majority of our players, which are from the Twin Cities, are on campus taking classes and lifting together with our strength coach and skating periodically. You know, we didn't have anybody on campus. All the facilities were shut down, and sure, that's how it was at a lot of places, but certainly that's the way it was here at the U. And, you know, as we got into a week before the start of school, President Gable of the university delayed move-in for our freshmen for 2 weeks. So, you know, that first week, we normally have a lot of team meetings and button some things up, and the players get skating together. And we didn't have that luxury or that opportunity. You know, really, I would say in the last few weeks, we've been able to have the majority of our team together and you know, really started to hone in on some details here over the last week, I'd say. And I know a lot of teams have been together for a lot longer. We sometimes had that opportunity and chose not to, and other times didn't have the opportunity to all be together. So, you know, our players are certainly fresh. They're not overloaded with information. They're prepared, but ready to go. So it was a challenge, Todd, but I think every program handled it a little differently, and the opportunities and availability of ice time and weight room time and things like that were different for everybody as well.
We got another question from Randy Johnson. Randy, go ahead.
Yeah, Brad, Big Ten football is about halfway through a season and with a lot of ups and downs. Have you consulted coaches from other sports on how to go through this?
Yeah, a little bit, not a lot, mainly with our associate AD, Tom McGinnis, who works with a number of sports here. But, you know, we're just, we're doing our 6-day-a-week testing. You know, we've talked a lot with our players just in regards to not being a contact for anybody as much as possible. You know, even our practices, when our team is in line, they're spread out. You know, we're trying to eliminate any transmission of the virus if anybody has it, and try and keep our players as safe as possible. I think we within our program have maybe been a little more strict in how we've handled some of those things, but Aaron Moore, our athletic trainer, has just been doing a phenomenal job keeping our kids safe. They're doing the right things, and so we're doing everything we can to be healthy and to be ready to go. But obviously, there's some unforeseen circumstances as well.
Okay, Coach. Thank you for your time. We're going to let you go. Give your day back. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you much.
Yep. Okay, we've reached our final speaker of the day, and we are going to bring on from Bemidji State University head coach Jim Scanlon. Coach, you're on.
Hey, Todd, thank you.
Yep.
I'd like to thank you and Dean, obviously, first of all, for facilitating this. It's like everything else this year, it's unique. I appreciate your work. And I want to echo some of the other coaches and thanking Jen Flowers and all the administrators for the work that they've done to get us to this point. I know, we all feel we have our stresses and can't find enough time for the things we're doing, but I know for all of them, I mean, obviously the administrators had all the other sports, and of course we want answers now for our game. And our administrators just did an unbelievable job, and certainly with Jen's leadership, I mean, for instance, I think I saw 7 different drafts of schedules prior to the one that we got. So I know that they've just been doing a tremendous amount of work, and I just appreciate that. And also appreciate our other coaching staff, our other coaches who were on the league. I think Jen alluded to it. We probably spent more time together on Zoom calls than any other year previously, obviously. And I just appreciate their leadership, their direction. A lot of us have questions and can bounce things off each other. And it's been really nice to have that, knowing that there's 6 other people kind of going through the same thing you are, and be able to reach out and talk to them has been really nice. So with that, the Beavs are looking forward to playing. Unfortunately, it might be a few more days than originally planned, like almost 17. But it is what it is. It's kind of the way this whole season could go. And certainly, we're getting that right out of the gate with our series this weekend being postponed. And it's unfortunate. I know our group was extremely disappointed when we got the news, but at the same time, we said, let's move on. It is what it is. And, let's focus on getting better today. And that's what I really appreciate about this group since day one. Their focus, their level of engagement has been outstanding. For not having a schedule, not knowing when we were playing, never left the ice feeling like it was a wasted day. I mean, they came every day, worked hard, and got the most out of it. And as a coach, that's all you can ask. So we're looking forward to play. Obviously, it's going to be, I think the WCHA is good, if not better than ever. I think every team has gotten better. And it's like we always say, every weekend is going to be an unbelievable challenge. And I think this year is even more so. I just think everybody's is improving themselves as teams. And obviously with what we're dealing with, it's just going to be a really, really interesting year. So but we're looking forward to it.
Coach, how's how are things looking on the ice with your team? How are things shaking out for you so far?
Yeah, good, Todd. We had a situation 3 weeks ago. We had to put a lot of us in quarantine, which obviously when you don't have players, it's a little tougher to get anything done on the ice. But when we started off way back, initially we were on the ice. We had small groups and a lot of skill work, a lot of skill development. And then once we were able to get everybody on the ice, it was just you just feel the enthusiasm, the excitement, the group finally getting together. And I just really liked the way things were going. Like some of the other coaches talked about, we scrimmage a lot on the weekend, on Friday, and they were all just always very, very competitive. And again, this was all before we knew we were going to get a chance to play anybody. So to come every day like they did and work hard and get, like I said, get the most out of the day was fun to see.
Okay. Got our first question here from Kelly Schultz. Kelly, go ahead. Take your phone off mute, or take your screen off mute.
Sorry about that. Coach, first of all, talk about your freshman class and how they've had to deal with this adversity.
Yeah, hi, Kelly. Good to see you. Really see your picture. Again, really, really proud of them. Yeah, really proud of them. Obviously, like all the freshmen throughout the league, this is a year unlike any other. And just not to have that experience of being a part of a vibrant college campus and everything that goes with just the excitement of moving day and the hustle and bustle and all all your fellow classmates and students that are out around campus, Friday football games or going to the volleyball games, and all those things they're missing out on. And, they spend most of their time in their dorm. They're attending most of their classes via Zoom like this. But as Mark Johnson alluded to, they're the best part of their day is when they get to come to the rink. And from that standpoint, it's been outstanding because they just have that youthful enthusiasm and everything's new. And, even now it's all new to them. So they come, they work hard. They've integrated with the rest of the team extremely well. We're blessed with a tremendous senior class, some tremendous leaders and tremendous young women, and to have them as the mentors and the role models to me is really, really important. And just in talking with them, they said right from day one how they really were really enjoyed our freshmen and how they're real confident. And they fit in really, really well. So from all those things, Kelly, really, really happy with the way things have gone for them.
Coach, how'd you keep it fresh on the ice with all this time from when the kids got back to school until, the announcement on when the season was actually going to start? What did you do to keep the drills fresh, I guess, for your team?
Yeah, similar to some of the other coaches have mentioned, you certainly try to change things up, Todd. You don't want to be repetitive and have it the same old. And one thing nice for us this year is obviously we have a brand new assistant coach in Emma Terrace, and she replaced my longtime associate Amber Fricklin, and Emma just brings a whole new vibe to the program. Obviously she played here, but she's got new ideas, new drills, and she's just so excited and hungry to get on the ice. And I can just see how the team has really gravitated toward her and how they really, really enjoy being on the ice with her. And she's, like I said, she's doing stuff we've never done before. It's all new to them. So from that standpoint, it's fresh and new, and I've certainly given her as much opportunity as she wants to do what she wants to do on the ice, and introducing new drills and new small area games, you name it. So from that standpoint, that certainly kept things fresh. And like I said, we've the other Friday we did a green and white game where we put on our game sweaters just to give them that feel of walking into the locker room and seeing their game stuff all hung up. And it was just they not only was it really competitive, obviously they enjoyed it. And I think that's the big thing, Todd, just making sure they're every day that they're having fun. And we know that, like I say, we know they're getting better. Every day they look sharper. Things are, in terms of how we want to play conceptually, they're picking things up. And obviously it's going to be nothing like when we actually get to play a game. And it's always, you can't quite duplicate that intensity, but we're certainly going to do everything we can to be as ready as we can when that puck drops.
Okay. Thanks, Coach. We got a question from Austin Monteith. Austin, go ahead.
Hi, Jim. I imagine this season's probably unlike any other you've had in your time as a coach. Once you get through this season, just how much do you think you'll be able to say, if we can make it through this, then we can face any challenge from now on after this season?
Yeah, well, first of all, I hope we get a season to get through, Austin. That's first and foremost. Again, we're just going to be grateful every opportunity we get. That's kind of the other message I said. You walk on the ice for practice, just be grateful, and just keep that in mind. And every opportunity, Austin, every game we're going to be extremely grateful that we get to play. And hopefully at some point down the road this summer, next year, we can look back and marvel maybe at being able to do it. But I think first of all, we just want to make sure we get through it.
Anything else for Coach? Okay, Kelly, bring Kelly back on here. Kelly, go ahead.
So, Coach, now that you know that you don't have games this weekend, what do you do with your team? How do you keep them motivated for 17 days from now?
Yeah, I just kind of go back to what I mentioned before, Kelly. Just take it a day at a time. Come to the rink with a smile on your face and be grateful that you're able to even get on the ice and practice together. And obviously as a coaching staff, that's up to us to make sure we're going to get the most out of however long our practice is. And and provide the drills that are gonna keep them engaged. But yeah, that's I think really, really important. Just take it a day at a time, Kelly. We're not going to look past today, and that that has to be our commitment to each other. Is let's make today count, and let's get whatever we can out of today, and then we'll go from there.
That concludes 2020-21 WCHA Women's League Media Day. We appreciate you all joining us.